Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday, and it's August 1st. This will be our chart lesson for today. And starting another month, believe it or not, another month behind us. They just keep rolling by. Fall will be here before you know it, and who knows where this market will go then. I noticed the market just opened about 10 minutes ago, and I noticed we gapped way down here. Interesting that happened. I haven't seen a gap down open like that quickly from a close in a while. So I don't know if that means anything. Maybe some news item came out. I'm not sure what that means, but it doesn't matter. We'll see. They'll probably fill that gap before 8:30 tomorrow, but we'll see. It could go lower. Looks like it's trying to climb out of there now, but maybe there was just a large sell order. It didn't get filled at the close, and it got filled and um, during the after hours where there's thin volume, and it just gapped it down like that. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, you can see how bearish today was. Very bearish day. It really was another range day. We trended down and then just went sideways all day. These bars are very confusing on the daily chart because really these last 2 days have been um, range type days, but this one looks pretty bullish and this one looks pretty bearish. So they're deceiving on this daily chart, but you can't ignore them at the same time. So, but when we flip over to the chart, you'll see all the down movement came early, and then it was just sideways action most of the day. So, anyway, let's flip over there and we'll take a look at that chart and go through the trades and we'll wrap this day up. Also, real quickly, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to be taking off Thursday and Friday, and I'm going to be completely taking off. So, no mid-morning chart on Thursday or Friday, and no chart lesson on Thursday. I apologize. It's kind of a last-minute trip, but I'm going to be taking a trip here. I need a little break to get away, and so I'll be out of town, leaving town Thursday, and won't be back till Sunday night. So I'll be back in the office Monday, but again, no chart lessons on Thursday and no mid-morning chart on the website on Thursday or Friday. I'll be here all day tomorrow, regular day, but I'll take off Thursday and won't be back till Monday. So just a little heads up on that. Let's flip over to the other chart and take a look, and we'll go from there. Okay, here's a look at this 2000 tick chart with today's price action. You see that all the down movement came really early. We went slightly lower than that at a point. We closed off those lows. But something I thought that was interesting is notice we had this first leg down and we're looking for a second leg. There's a couple different ways to measure it, starting here and then even starting the second leg from this point here. It gives us two targets. But notice when we opened up, it gapped right to those points. I don't know if that had anything to do with it trying to fill this gap. It's pretty interesting, but we definitely are not to fill the gap, but to meet these targets. I don't know if it had anything to do with that or not, but just thought it was interesting. I pointed out that it took into the next trading session, but we did meet those targets and then some. But that could happen easily in the. You can see where we opened right there, and it just went straight down. There could have just been a large sell order here. But you would think there would still been some kind of trading in between here. I don't know what caused this. Um, Something changed in the last hour after the close, so there's probably some news item or something out there. But anyway, I'm not going to waste my time to go and look because it doesn't matter. All we care about is what the chart says. So anyway, let's zoom in here. You see it. It's just a tight range. I mean, this is a 45.92 to it's probably 14, 15 point range. So not even not a very wide range at all. Pretty weak. But we started off with that first leg down, had a break, and we're trading down here. And 7 o'clock came right in here somewhere. We drop on down. I don't see anything down here that would make me want to buy. Um, if you'd tried to pick this bottom here, that's why we don't try to pick bottoms, but I think you still would have got a scalp out of that. Yeah, there's 2 points there, so that would have been tempting. If you took that one, you would have got your scalp, but those are dangerous. You can clearly see there's two legs here, so you always want to measure this first leg just in case you get another measured leg. And you see that puts the target down here about where we went to. But that one's close right there, so it still might have been one that you might say, hey, I'm willing to risk it on this. So I'll make it green. But it's risky because you see as we weren't quite done yet. And a lot of times they'll do that just to run stops on people. People are trying to pick bottoms. Then suddenly we rally out of there. Notice we're coming up. You get a first entry, second entry. So that's a failed second entry short. This is just like 5 ticks. Very low risk trade on a failed second entry. Now, I'm going to say this again. These trades are not, if you're not a very skilled, profitable trader already, don't mess with reversals or failures. They're failed second entries. They're usually, there's two types. There's the reversal, which you look for at new lows or new highs, and then there's the continuation pattern that happens in trends. And you need to understand them. They're very difficult. You need a lot of experience. You need to learn them organically. That's why I don't teach them in the manual, because it just slows people down and causes people to. You're basically trying to pick tops and bottoms. So if you're following the rules way we teach it, you're never going to try to pick tops and bottoms. And so, because that's where most people lose money, it's very difficult to pick a top or a bottom. You need to be a very skilled chart reader to do it. So just stay away from these. Please don't send me emails asking about them, because it's too complicated to try to explain them to people and try to tell you when is a good time to. It's just too much. The only way to really learn these is to learn them organically as you get better at reading a chart, and just study them, watch them. But don't try to trade them, and please don't send me emails asking about them. I get emails every day, even though I say that. People will say, yeah, but I want to learn more. Well, I know you want to learn more, but there's nothing I can tell you in an email that's going to help you learn these. They're too complicated. So it just wastes your time and my time and confuses you, and then you try to trade them, and it just costs you money. So honestly, just ignore them. So, but anyway, then you get a second entry long here. I believe this broke higher and then moved down. Anytime you do that and it's an engulfing bar, you could just let it stop you out here. But what I suggest is anytime there's an engulfing bar, if you feel pretty good about your read, always put your stop below the next low. And that would have saved you here, and you could have kept going. I don't know if I would have entered up here, but I like entering that. I think it broke higher and turned down, and it would have went back up. So I don't think you would have even had you would have taken much heat if you entered on the engulfing bar when it broke higher. I'm pretty sure that's how it played out. I wouldn't swear to it, but I believe it broke higher, turned down, broke lower, and then turned back up. So when it went back through and it again, and it's an engulfing bar, I would try to go long there. Or you could have went long there to begin with, before it broke lower. But anytime you get on an engulfing bar like that, you're better off to move your stop to the previous low, and that way, and just as an example here, you wouldn't have got stopped out. So a lot of times you'll know it's an engulfing bar in advance. It's better if it broke lower first and then turned up, because it tends to trap more people. This is like a double trap. It breaks higher, it traps. It brings in all the second entry traders because it looks like a great entry, and then they run everybody's stop right here only to turn it and go back up. So it's like a double trap, and it usually would cause the market to take off really briskly. In this case, you just had maybe 2 bars of pretty brisk movement, and then it kind of went back to normal again. But that's not uncommon for them to run a trap like that, so be real careful. This just keeps going up, and then you get a second entry right here at the thing. I think there's a couple of points here, so there's plenty of room. The only reason I made this green is because it's still right in that channel, so you're taking a little bit, and notice how it gaps over there and goes up. Notice how these bars don't overlap. You probably couldn't have got in that trade, because once it's gone enough to get a scalp and it comes back like this, you don't want to go. Very rarely do you want to try to get in on a limit order when it's already met its scalp. Now, if it only went a few ticks and then starts backing up, yeah, try to get in on a limit order if you like the trade. But don't try to do a limit order on a gap over like this if it's already got enough to get a scalp. I can't remember what this gets, but I think the scalp is good. So, yeah, there's exactly 6 ticks there. So you would have scalped out, and then it starts backing up. But if it gets at least 6 ticks, and you could have scalped out with a stop order, one tick above your signal bar, don't let it back up on you because you see you would have got stopped out here. And that's generally what will happen. If it only goes a few ticks and doesn't quite get a scalp and then backs up, I'd be more apt to try to put a limit order in there and see if I can get a scalp out of it, if I really like the trade. Here, I'm not so sure that I like the trade that much because you're still in this channel and there's no break in new low. But notice you get a break and new low. I didn't measure it to see if it was close to a measured leg. I put a lot of the measured legs on here today, and this looks like we're real close. We didn't quite get a measured leg, but we were within a tick of two measured legs. So, and I could be off a tick here on this. Looks like I probably am. No. Anyway, it's close. And then we start up, and of course there's a couple of news items at 9 o'clock that are high volatility. Didn't really affect the market unless this sell-off was part of it, but it doesn't go real crazy. You can see there's a little bit of volatility, and then it settles down. So you could probably be trading again by 9:05 or so. And notice we got two legs up here. We made this high. You get a second entry, and it doesn't go anywhere. It turns down, and really this is a double bottom, triple bottom. So you could look at that as a second entry short, a lower high, double top, way away from the EMA. I like going short there. It does get back in the original overnight high right here. Or no, I take that back. That's the original high of the day after the 8:30 open. And notice how it holds to the tick. So that's tempting there. But because there's only one test of that, if there had been two tests of that, I'd probably say go short right there. It's too far to call that a lower high. But if it's just coming back to retest the support resistance and it holds and gives you that bearish bar, you might go short if you got room to get out before this low right here. There's nothing but first entries the rest of the way down. And then it bounces at the overnight low down here. There is a decent signal bar there. So again, maybe you go long, but I only see one leg down. A lot of times you'll get two, but you're way away from the EMA. So again, it's another one, but again, you're trying to pick bottoms here. So you got to be real careful with them. There is a failure here, but it's on the wrong side of the EMA. Prices run on up, you get a break. No second entry till here, and it's right into the high. You see it fails pretty quickly. This one's tempting to go short. This was actually a second entry short. First entry, second entry. And you do have a new high with two legs up there. I like waiting on the lower high, but it closes back inside that pretty much at the trend line. So if it would have closed a little lower, still if it breaks lower there, maybe you take that trade. There's a reversal here. If it breaks below that, again, I would like to see this underneath the EMA, and it's not. But there was some support there, and it bounced. And so that's probably why. So you may take that trade. Anyway, you get two legs back here, but no signal bar. Then you just start chopping along, and you get in this range here. That signal bar is not good enough. There's no entries here until you finally get a triple test with a nice signal bar. This one's close to being green because it didn't break higher right here, and this ends up to be a bar with a very small body. But there's obviously strong support here, and there's definitely a triple test. Really nice signal bar. So maybe if it breaks higher, you go ahead and take that trade. Runs up to the high, comes back down. This signal bar is not good enough. It's not a good signal bar. Bounces early here. Again, not a good enough signal bar. And then we break out the bottom here. And again, we just kind of test that overnight low. So, but the problem is we made a new low here. So I'd wait on a higher low. And you can see there's rejection here. And this thing just takes off. I don't see a setup I really like. And then all of a sudden you get a break. Two legs back. Signal bar is not good enough. This signal bar, it looks too congested there now. Notice it doesn't go anywhere. There's a lower high here, but this is just kind of like, well, let me just draw it. There's really a little congestion area in here, and it could be a failed breakout. So that's just one test, and you see it doesn't go very far before it reverses. So you would try to look to get long. I don't see a good long here. That is the second entry when it breaks above that, but the signal bar is no good. It takes off, it goes right out the other side, and that's what they'll do. They couldn't get it to go higher here, so they fell it out the bottom and trap people and then run it up, and then it runs all the way back to the other side. Uh, Again, there's a first entry, and so when it breaks above there, it's a second entry, but you can't go long right into the high of that little congestion range there. It'd probably be good for a scalp, but I wouldn't risk it. Again, we turned down up here where we had that. I think the original turn down right there, but that's not enough evidence yet. So wait, there is a lower high here, but you'd have to trade that on the engulfing bar, and you got to go long right into the EMA. You don't worry so much about that on a range, but that bar is really big. There's no way I'm gonna go short at the bottom of it, 12 ticks. I mean, I say big for today. For current volatility, it's not that large compared to what we were seeing before, but still, you got to be concerned about it. I'd wait for a better setup, and you see it quickly fails and just trying to go higher. But again, I don't see anything I like going higher. Maybe you could have looked at this as a triple test. It didn't really feel like that to me. Um, but you could have looked at that, and if you did, maybe you take that trade. The problem is there's not much room to scalp out, so I don't think you want to take it anyway. But we do run up and break out, and notice you get a break lower. It's a second entry too by the counts. First entry, second entry. Now you got a triple test across there. Nice signal bar. I like going short right there. And that takes you into 230. And you can see we had a lot of measured moves today. You had a measured leg here, from here to here. And there's probably one from here to here. They may not be quite measured, but it was. And then you get that little trap. Here, you had those two, these two, these two. And of course, I showed you there's these two. And I showed you the early ones this morning. There was a couple of ways to look at this, and we didn't. It's interesting that the gap open met those targets, and then plus some, and then now it's rallying. They'll probably fill that gap before the overnight session is over. But there it is again, just a quick look at it. You're really just, you had one trend here you could play, and the rest of this was really just playing either the tight congestion or the range. There's not a lot of trades today, really not. So not the best trading day, but there's enough here to find you a couple of trades, and hopefully you did. But this is not a great trading day. So anyway, that's how I saw it. So I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. And a reminder again, tomorrow is going to wrap our week up. No chart lesson on Thursday, and no mid-morning charts Thursday or Friday. I will be on vacation, taking a couple of days off, a long weekend, and I'll be out of town. So anyway, I'm going to call it a day. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.